All right. Well, one of the things that is of interest to me is we hear all this talk about how the recession is coming to an end and how there's a recovery underway, but in people's personal financial lives, they're not seeing the same sort of thing. So I'm just kind of wondering what people can do to kind of end the sort of personal recession that they're feeling in their financial lives.
Well, one of the things, Miranda, first of all, I agree with you. It's hard to say that the economy is recovering when there's 1 out of every 10 people is out of work. So it is difficult to imagine that the economy is in recovery, and I won't feel better about it until more people have a job. But in the meantime, what can people do to combat their own personal recession? One of the things that I've been beating the table on for about 20 years now is paying off debt. I mean, after all, when you're paying interest on money that you borrow, you are literally throwing that money away. So I think paying off debt has to be the single most important thing that people should focus on today.
Okay, and so what do you think is the number one most important thing that people can do as they start to get out of debt?
Well, this is a good segue into my new book, which is called Life or Debt 2010. I actually wrote this book the first time 10 years ago. I just updated it. And what Life or Debt 2010 is about is essentially 3 things. You need 3 things to pay off debt. You need motivation, you need money, and you need a method. And that's what I try to give people, not just in Life or Debt, but also in all the television news that I do. That's my profession. Let me go over those things for you one at a time. Motivation. The hardest thing to do is to become motivated to change your behavior, motivated to the extent that you'll change your behavior enough so that you can find that extra money to pay off debt. So how do you stay motivated? Well, you create a goal and you try to get as many people involved in that goal as you can, members of your family, for example. And then you try to stay motivated by going to places on the website, joining communities, just like you would in anything else. Try to find people who have similar attitudes and see if you can combine with those people and encourage one another and provide stories to one another and help each other stay on track. That's motivation. Now, the second thing you need to pay off debt is you need money. Obviously, you're going to have to find some extra money in your household budget. How are you going to do that? Well, what I tell people to do is, first, you got to know where your money's going. You can't find where it's hiding if you don't know where it's going. So you have to write down everything you spend, and then you have to stop every now and then, and you have to look at that, and you have to see, can I save on doing this activity, or am I paying for things I don't even like? Let me give you an example. I've never owned a new car in my life. I'm 54 years old. I've never bought a new car. Why? Because cars really aren't that important to me. I have a nice car. In fact, I drive a Mercedes, but it's used. And so, to me, a car's not that important. On the other hand, I love my Harley. I bought that new because it makes me laugh out loud. So what I'm saying is, when you're starting to look for money, think about what things in life really make you happy. Stop and think for a moment about the happiest moment of your life or the happiest times you've had. And then stop spending money on things that don't appear on that list of things that make you happy. Now, if there are things that do make you happy and you'd like to spend less on those, that's so simple. In fact, in Life or Debt 2010, my new book, there are over 200 specific ways of saving money. But some real simple ideas so you can get the concept. I like to go out to eat. So you know what I do? I make an appetizer at home, then I go and split an entree with my girlfriend. Dinner's now half price, but I still went out to eat. The key is to find ways to save without having a negative impact on your quality of life. And you can do this and lots of people have. Now, let me mention one more thing, and that's method. If you're going to rank, you've got to rank your debts for payoff, and you're going to have to find some method of paying them off. Here's what I advise in my book. What I try to do is to get you to get 10% of your gross income and apply that to your debts every single month. You take the debt with the fewest payments left, the one that's, the least big debt you have, the smallest debt you have, and you put 10% of your income and that minimum payment on that debt until it's gone. Once you do that, you go to the next debt on your list, the next smallest debt, and you take your old debt payment plus that 10% of your income plus the minimum on that debt and pay it off. This is a system called snowballing. So let me recap. Motivation. There's so much motivation to get out of debt, and there's so much help out there to help keep you motivated. Money. There are thousands of ways that you can find extra money in your budget without sacrificing quality of life. And method, the one I advocate, is paying off the smallest debt first and snowballing those old debt payments to help pay off every other debt on your list.